I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is... what is it, babe?
Well, here, you pronounce it.
Drudkh. Furrows of Gods.
Yep.
I get the feeling that this is not going to be in English.
Probably not. This is the True Cult.
Ah, the True Cult. Blothar.
Oh, God.
Shout out to the big homie Blothar. Okay, this is a True Cult pick. The True Cult is an alliance, ladies and gentlemen. If you, dear listener, would like to join an alliance, it's very simple. $1 at the gate at Patreon gets you in. You get to join an alliance. It's all fun. It's all good. And
They hang out on Discord.
Some of them
hang out on Facebook. But yeah, it's fun. They do like bunches of different things, but they influence our song list. So that's how we got this song today. It's because of the one alliance that's called the True Cult.
Yep. Okay, so that being the case, this is Drudkh, Furrows of the Gods.
Yep.
This is going to be a very, very, very interesting song, I believe, because True Cult always has really cool, selections. And I'm hoping, True Cult is a black metal group, and I'm hoping they, have a lot of tremolo, because that's my thing. Everybody knows that Vincent is a sucker for tremolo. So I've got the lyrics here, but they're not in English. Why? Furrows of the Gods, translate. There you go. How about now? Lyrics translations. Yes, I got it. Yes! I'm so important. All right. That being said, I am the best. All right, let's do it. Ready?
Yep.
What does Drudkh mean?
Wow, shout out to them. That was really good.
They always
It like was changing so much.
Yeah.
And there was like little surprises in there. I always find it interesting when something like True Cult is like beautiful. Because
the last couple ones
sometimes they kind
been-
of come with some real, like,
The last couple ones though have been pretty beautiful.
Yeah. This one I felt like encapsulated so much. It had so much in it.
People always ask me what my favorite genre of metal is, and it's black metal. I love black metal. Last year it was.
See, I don't love black metal. So when I like a song, I feel like it's a little bit. I'm like, well, that's extra because I'm not really like you are about the black metal.
Yeah, last year it was Exercises in Futility. I played that just over and over again. And I'm sure, like when we're at practice, like I said that's the Magua part. Like I specifically, like that's the, and Peter picked up on it immediately.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay, I just completely.
That's like something about your personality where you can just do something over and over and over and over and over.
Oh, yeah.
See, I'm not like that. Like, I can like something and listen to it over and over, but still, there's still like a 20-time limit or something like that on the songs that I really like. I've probably heard them. You know what I'm saying? Like, not you. You'll be like...
Oh, no. Because there's always something, whether it's a drum thingamajiggy or a chord progression or whatever that I zone in on, and it's like, oh, that's so beautiful. Like,
as in learning something new in the song?
Well, it's just like for like Orbit Culture, right? Like the it goes heavy and then it goes to the acoustic part, which that's coming, and then it has the open chord play thingamajig, and then he says his part. And then there's like dueling guitars, and he goes higher each movement, and then he goes back to sing. That part where he goes higher, I'm like, yes, I love that part.
So
right now, that part when I listen to like that chunk of the song just to get to that part because it's like yes. So that Orbit Culture song, and then
but I feel like you haven't answered my question.
Oh, what was your question?
Are you looking? Do you find something new in this? Like maybe that's the part you're looking at now, but like a month from now, it might be something else that you like listen to the whole song for. Like, does it always change, or is there like one part in the song that you just love and that's why you keep listening to it?
Well, okay, so I'm gonna show you something with this Orbit Culture song, right? Like, what happened?
Like for me, there'll be one thing that I like. Do you want me to unplug this?
No, I think all I have to do is unplug here, right? There, because it's not jacked into this one. Okay, so here it is. So this is the shadowing for Orbit Culture, right? And then it goes right.
Can you turn that up?
So I like that part because I add lyrics in there. They're very special to me. I just make them up, but I really like them. So then this is the opening part, and it's got the synth in the back. You can hear the synth thing, right? So I've got something in my head that's happening when that happens, and then he starts singing, and then the drums. It's like epic, bro.
Oh yeah, it is. I totally agree. Totally agree.
And then, so. This is Orbit Culture.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to know who requested this.
I don't know, but whoever it is, I should give you $1 million. Okay, and then right here, this is the part I'm talking about right here. So he stops singing and they just go for it. You hear that?
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
So it goes, and then it goes high on the last one. And it goes. See?
Yeah.
Which of course is my style. I like going low and then like going high. But anyway.
That was.
But black metal.
Ah!
What?
Dox the man. I have to make sure I bleep out his name. It's Blastroid that put that one up there.
Shaw! Minute 15, 20. Yeah, so my point is like that specific part with the guitar, with the dueling guitars, when they add that, then they go again.
Yeah.
It goes, and then the last one it goes, which is, every time I play I always do that. I always go high, then I go
yeah,
low.
I know that. You're like, it's going high and then it's going low. How come you can't do that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't hear it yet.
Yeah, so we were doing the acoustic part, like, it goes high here.
Yep.
So you gotta go up and we fight about it all the time.
Yeah, but I finally got it. But you would be looking at me like this and you'd go like,
Yeah, like obviously it's going high.
But I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I don't like playing the same thing over and over again, so I always go high and go low.
And it was like one of those things. This is like one of those communication issues. Like everything in me, like from my childhood up, is just you just agree. So then you can kind of move forward. But you literally can't do that when you're working on the song together. So I can't say, oh yeah, I hear it when I really don't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't hear it. And then he'd repeat it again. I'd be like, I still don't hear it.
It's right here. You can even see it when you play.
It's getting more. It was like that. I was like, this doesn't help.
Peter knows how to do it immediately. He transcribes it.
Yeah, I know, but I think that some people, they just have an ear for it.
That shit is amazing because, like, I'm just playing, because what we do for practice, because we're all over the place, is I play it, and then, like, he sees where I'm on the board, and then it gets transcribed.
Well, fine. Everybody in the world is better than Sori.
No,
make me feel better?
just Peter. All right. Shout out to the big homie. Everybody's good where he lives. There was a terrorist attack all over Vienna. I had a hard night last night, bro. But he got his. Everybody's good. Everybody's good in his family.
Good.
All right. So this song I really loved, and I loved the plow analogy.
Wait. Let me just say what I think it is first, because I think I have an idea. I feel like obviously we're talking about time, and then when you think about a plow, the plow is like he says that he was following the plow.
Yeah. Everybody follows time
like a plow.
Everybody follows time like a plow. And is that I who already follows time like a plow?
Yeah, it's like happening. Like it's moving forward, and you don't really have a say in it. Like it's gonna move forward, and you're gonna leave things behind. Eternity, blah blah. Eternity's ahead.
The last two stanzas are different though, because the first two, it's everybody follows time like a plow.
Yep.
And then the third one says, is that I who already follows time like a plow. And then the last one says is, and I already follow time like a plow.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming you got something super significant out of that, so.
That progression is significant.
Okay, well, what do you see? What do you see on that? No, I don't know.
No, you're saying that you had an interpretation of the song.
Well, I was just saying that it's time, and time moves forward, and you're following after. Like you have to go. You're plowing the field, and then he said something about sowing.
Sowing.
SOW, yeah, right there.
Yeah.
What will I plow?
What field will I sow?
Yeah. So I felt like he was just saying, like, time is going to move you forward, and yes, there are some things that happen in our lives that are like, well, that was unavoidable. Like, you couldn't have changed that. Like, literally, that was the cards you were dealt. But then there are other things where you involve yourself in stupid stuff that creates conflict or creates stress in your life that is unnecessary. It's just like you knew it was a bad decision and you were like, fuck it, I'm going along with it. You know what I mean? Like, so you in a sense decide what kind of a field you're going to plow. But we're all going to plow because we're all in time, and time is moving us all forward. Mm-hmm. So that was basically what I got from it. But just absolutely musically, I just thought it was great. And it was so, like, there was some parts of it where I was like, this is so friggin' beautiful.
Yeah.
Definitely, I was definitely a fan of it.
Yeah.
So
it's Drudkh. I'm trying to find a name. So Blood in Our Wells.
Well, no, they said right here, Furrows of Gods.
No, Furrows of the Gods is the title of the song.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah. What are you trying to find
Drudkh
out? Oh, what the band name
is the name of the band, right?
Okay, we'll just translate to English.
So I don't know what that translates to. Is the thing. But maybe that doesn't.
I feel like I'm friggin' 1,000 degrees right now.
Maybe that doesn't mean anything. Maybe they just made it up. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, I think it had to do. But the interesting thing about it is, I'm assuming these guys are Ukrainian, which is basically some relation to Russia. Was it Russia? Is that how you say it? So, like, it's just when you look at this picture, right? It's these kids, and they're on a sled, and it looks like there's a coffin there.
Oh right? My gosh, I didn't even see that.
So they're big, but like if
that mother looks so sad.
Yeah, that's probably their dad. So if you, and the name of the record is Blood in Our Wells, so that's like the entire record. But like if you look at that, and then you look at the landscape, I'm just assuming that it's just very cold and very, and then the plows, I'm sure that's like a main staple there, you know what I mean? Like, because that's how you got, around and all that. So, And then he starts personifying the season. And early spring laughed, it's time, behind the black road, behind the great meadow. My great-grandfather and great-great-great-great, everybody who follows time is like a plow.
Okay.
So, like, spring is usually, like, hey, spring is, why are you being so depressed?
Oh,
spring.
it's just, no, because it was so sad, because it's weird. I saw this picture and it was really small. And so even though, I mean, now I'm looking at it and I'm like, this horse, you can see the ribs, the horse looks bummed out.
Yeah,
the
he's
woman's
about to
bummed out.
He's about to be dinner for sure.
The child is hugging a coffin. I literally didn't see any of that. When I looked at it, I, for some reason, I was thinking it was like more like around the holidays, because they were in a sleigh thing, and like in my mind the only time we use a sleigh is around Christmas, so I didn't like look all that deep into the picture.
Right, like that's just how they got around, and it's winter, and it's
yeah,
yeah,
and I just think that
I'm not a fan of winter. I love fall. I'm not a fan of winter.
Like when you me neither. When you look at this time period too, and the type of life that, like, life was hard. Your husband had to work from sunup to sundown out in the fields, and if you worked all you could.
You mean they didn't wake up and have their husbands next to them, and
yes, I know,
have their husbands in the next room working?
I know. I'm an ungrateful person, but at the same time, like, what you do for your job, like, you work sunup to sundown, basically. Like, you work all those hours. I think they're a little tweaked because you work into the night, but you don't like get up at 5 a.m. You know what I'm saying? But it's still the same idea. But like their work, literally, they could plow that field, they could do everything that they could, and then they could lose the entire crop at the end. All of it could go to waste.
100%.
And so you never knew when hardship was going to hit. And then having a woman and two small children, like, in that time period, it to me, that's like basically a death sentence.
Yeah,
like,
people who, because we're post-millennialists, so we believe things are getting progressively better. People
Yeah.
are like, oh, come on. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're working in an like...
No, I know.
It's like...
I know, you have a cushion on your chair.
A cushion on the chair, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
I know, but you get acclimated to certain things. Like...
Well, Americans are spoiled. Modern Americans are the most spoiled people on the face of the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And that we don't know how good we have it. But yeah, I was looking at that picture, and like the way this guy writes is brilliant. Like what he does literarily is unbelievable. So look, he says, my great-grandfather and great-great-great-great, right? Mm-hmm. And then in the second stanza, he says, behind a field, there's a field. Behind a field, and a field. Mm-hmm. Like, that's brilliant writing, and I wish I could hear it and identify it in the original language, because I'm sure that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But that is a really cool way to talk about, eternity or timelessness or whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
So when it's saying great, it's like that person's life. The other great is another person's life.
Right.
Within generations.
Right.
And then he translates that to be fields.
Everybody follows time like a plow. Mm-hmm. Because there's like a path that a plow makes through the snow, and then you're getting there, and it's like.
I thought it was it's not a snowfield, babe. A plow is what you use to plow the field so you can plant. It's a plow.
Oh yeah. I was combining sled with plow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I was looking at the picture.
Yeah.
But but the same thing, right? It's like you're following this track.
You have your field, and you're gonna.
Yeah, and then the field that you're plowing is a field behind a field and a field.
Right. Everybody has their own field, and you're gonna plow your field, and time is gonna push you through your field, and then you're gonna go.
Yeah. And then he says, they, behind the black road, behind the great meadow.
Mine says trail. Yours says road.
Yeah, well, I went to the Encyclopedia Metallum or whatever, because that's where it was taken from. If you go down here.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
Trail. I like trail.
I like trail better.
I like trail better than road, so I'm going to go with trail. Behind the black trail, behind the great meadow, which the great meadow is capitalized here. I'm assuming that that's some way of saying like the Elysian fields or heaven or maybe a graveyard. Who knows? That's true, because it says they're behind the great meadow. So it could be, heaven, whatever, a good afterlife, whatever. But then he says they are already in a mist, which is
a fog. I like my translation better.
Fog mist I think like magua means fog or mist.
Yes, I understand that they can be interchangeable, but the word fog kind of gives you like this kind of like confused feel to it too. Like death is like that, you know what I mean? Death leaves people when you lose somebody, the feelings that you feel.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I'm gonna check up on Metallica. How are you, buddy?
We're gonna have a fireside starting at 8:30.
I know,
so.
and I also told Sale I would take her on a drive yesterday, and then I pushed it off today. Okay, so when it says, what a great heavy tread does eternity have? To me, that was like, the tread is like the hole that you're plowing into. Like, once you get into that, it's
Well, mine
you're not getting out of there.
What heavy steps eternity has. That eternity walks
tread.
with,
That could still be walking.
Walks with heavy, because he's personifying spring, which is a form of personifying time.
Yeah, I never saw that. Where's this early spring laughing?
Early spring left. It's time.
Oh, yeah. Okay, first right there. First.
Literally the first word. which is really interesting because I heard something one time where like in these like hyper Nordic areas where like you could not open the ground to bury your dead because the ground was so spring was when they would go and basically you had the body was frozen, it was already in state, and then you would dig. I didn't know.
It was like that in Maine. I don't know if it's like that still.
I didn't know if that was an urban legend or something like that, but it was this basically like an irony, like spring. We look at spring like, oh, it's life springing, but in reality, it's like, okay, now the ground is soft enough so that you can actually bury your dead. So I don't know if that's where they were going, but if that's where they were going, that was then spring then gets transformed into something not very good.
Yeah.
Spring becomes a sort of devil because now everybody that died over the wintertime, now it's time we find it time to say goodbye to these people or whatever. So it's time.
I mean, you could look at that two ways.
Which goes to your Great Meadow being a graveyard thing instead of being like heaven or something like that. What were you gonna say?
I mean, like I don't know if it's true or not, but if in Maine the ground gets so freaking hard here that you can't dig. But I don't know if now we have machinery that digs into the frozen ground.
Yeah, I'm sure now.
So, but like I know, but I was told that before they would take them and they would put them in those little. There's like these little spots where they would put them and then they would bury them come spring. Mm-hmm. But I think that this is my thoughts on those kinds of things. I think that for some people, I'm not speaking for everybody, but like there are certain points of closure that people have to have. So if the person's not buried and it's still like in your head that come spring you're going to bury them, they're not buried. It's like hard to move forward and kind of like move on.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying move on as in forget the person even existed, but just like begin your process of healing. I think it would stick you in kind of like a grave state. So I think that when I read that, I'm like, oh, that's
brutal.
Yeah,
it's brutal. But they made something really cool out of it and beautiful out of it.
Word, they did such a good job.
The human spirit is pretty crazy.
They kept it kind of upbeat too, because it didn't feel like you were getting dragged,
especially toward the end.
Yeah, and so I kind of felt like that it was more like, look, everybody follows this path that time brings us on, and life and death comes to us all, and it's not. I don't know. It just kind of didn't have like a depressing feel to it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's why it's getting a 9.4 from me.
It was actually 9.8 for me.
Holy moly, I think that's the highest you've ever rated a black metal
It's
song.
very possible.
You like this more than Exercises in Futility?
Absolutely.
Well, there is that SAOR band. I don't know how to pronounce that name. That band I love too. I listen to that a lot at night. There you are, dear listener. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.